Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on the time of day that you are listening to this and watching this. My name is Miss Johns. I'm the Director of Sixth Form here at Nonsuch, and I'm very sorry that I cannot greet you all in person, but would like to take this opportunity to extend you all a very, very warm welcome to Nonsuch Sixth Form, and I look forward to working with you and your daughters over the next 2 years. This presentation will cover the following areas: information from myself regarding our COVID procedures and how we are working to keep the community safe. Mr. Souza will outline our transition programme and how we are supporting our students in their learning and bridging the gap between GCSE and A-level studies. Mrs. Simpson, our Head of Year 12, will share with you important information about how your child can access support if they are finding things difficult. Mrs. Todd will outline how we use data in the sixth form to support and monitor student progress, and I will summarise the different support we have available for academic progress. Higher education and careers are a very important aspect of sixth form, and I will share with you what we are developing in response to the current situation. This includes information about higher education talks, as well as career guidance and virtual online support and work experience. Finally, Mrs. Todd will outline how you can ensure your daughter is set up for remote learning should we face a lockdown. Students are in year group bubbles. Students in Year 12 have designated entrance and exits to the school building. They have the Year 12 common room as their designated study area and classrooms that are dedicated to Year 12. Hand sanitizer is available at entrances to the building and around the school, and we would encourage students to sanitize their hands throughout the day. Staff maintain a social distance from students in a classroom. This is called our teacher lily pad, and students are not allowed to enter this area. If your child is isolating at home, work can be found on Frog, or teachers may email your child using the school email. Your child should check Frog and email on a daily basis if they are well enough to do so. In order to keep the school community safe, please follow the guidance set out regarding attending school. If your child presents with any one or more of the coronavirus symptoms, do not come to school. Instead, you should get a test and inform the school of the result. If the test is negative, your child is able to return to school. If your child's test result is positive, you must notify the school, and your child should self-isolate for 10 days. If someone in your household has symptoms, get a test and your child should self-isolate for 10 days. Again, if the test comes back and it is negative, your child is able to return to school. If someone in the household or someone that your child has had close contact with has a positive test, you need to self-isolate for 14 days. In each case, we would encourage you to stay in touch with the school daily, and we will arrange for work to be sent home via Frog or via school email.
I'm going to outline the sixth form transition programme, focusing firstly on teaching and learning. We appreciate that there is a significant change between GCSE study and A-level, and even more so as students had a large period of time not at school. We don't expect students on day one to suddenly have all the tools they need to be an A-level learner. Therefore, our teaching and learning transition programme looks at how we can facilitate students to become better equipped to study their A-levels. Firstly, skills. In all lessons, in particular in the first half term, there will be a focus on skills. For example, what does a good essay look like in your subject? How to write an effective paragraph using Peel? How to understand command words? What does effective note-taking look like? How do I revise in this subject? We will also focus on helping the students to develop good learning habits, looking at organisation, active engagement in lessons, being a reflective learner, consolidating work covered, and being proactive in asking for help. Lastly, there is a lot of support from teachers, both within and outside lessons, and they will also undertake learning conversations with students in the autumn term. The conversations will reflect on work that has been assessed, and targets will be set to aid student progression. Alongside the Teaching and Learning Transition Programme, we will also be ensuring that students are supported in terms of their well-being and enriched. We will do this using different methods, for example, assemblies, topics such as the importance of sleep, current affairs, and enriching your life. In tutor time, this is a time for students to bond as a form, for tutors to mentor their tutees, to find out what's going well and where there might be problems, either with work or their well-being. Students will also undertake chatterbox activities, where students can ask questions and discuss them as a form. PSHE, of course, is integral to the transition. We'll be looking at study skills, time management, but also topics such as habits for happiness. We've implemented a buddy system for new students, so they have a supportive buddy to help ease the transition to a new school. And lastly, the house system, competitions within houses, which is important for developing a community ethos here at Nonsuch. As part of the sixth form provision, all Year 12 students will study an elective. The purpose of the electives are to provide a rich and diverse curriculum at Nonsuch. It provides students an opportunity to study something outside their normal A-levels. And also universities are interested in highly academic students who can offer something broader beyond their subjects. This slide shows the various elective options there are. We offer 10 electives. Some of these electives are qualifications, for example, the EPQ and the Arts Award, and some are not and are there to enrich the students in either topics which are related to their A-levels or indeed are completely indifferent, which enables students to really develop themselves as a person and also develop their interests too.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Simpson and I am the head of Year 12. Over the next few slides I'll be going through the support systems we have in place for the students, for their well-being, as well as discussing good behaviour for learning habits. As head of Year 12, my primary responsibility over the next 2 years is to provide guidance and support to all the students in Year 12 to enable them to realise and reach their own goals and aspirations, whatever they may be. Further to this, I also coordinate the tutor teams and sixth form events, and towards the end of this year provide a lot of support for the UCAS applications. If you do want to contact me, you can do so on the email that is on the screen. Working alongside myself as head of year, there is also the sixth form team, whose picture, name and job role you can see on the slide. These are members of staff who are also available to support and advise students throughout their sixth form journey. Working alongside myself as head of year, there is also the sixth form team, whose picture, name and job role you can see on this slide. These are members of staff who are also available to support and advise students throughout their sixth form journey. Although myself and the sixth form team are available for students to talk to, pupils' first point of contact should be their form tutors. Form tutors aim to get to know each student in their form group on an individual basis so they can provide the best support for them. They will also have one-to-one mentoring sessions where students can raise and discuss any concerns or issues they may have about their sixth form journey. The tutor will then raise these concerns, if necessary, with the sixth form team. They will also set goals to ensure that they are travelling along the right path to reach their goals and aspirations at the end of their sixth form journey. As I've just mentioned, tutors will be completing one-to-one mentoring sessions with all the students in their tutor groups. The aim of these sessions is to have individual conversations with the students to check in with them and see how they are finding their A-levels, how they feel they are progressing in their A-level subjects, as well as allowing them to discuss any worries or concerns they may have around any of their sixth form journey or the subjects they are studying. As you can see on the slide, we do try and guide these conversations at different points in the year to ensure that by the end of the 2-year programme, all students have been successful in the sixth form and managed to reach those goals and aspirations. Outside of the sixth form team, we also have the school counsellor, Miss Tivy, and our Elsa, who is our emotional literacy support assistant, Miss Campbell, who are available for those students who may need it. As a sixth form team, we really hope that all students do enjoy their time spent in our sixth form, but we also understand that it can be challenging. It is really important that if a student does have any worries or concerns, they are aware of what support is available to them, whether that be the friends, family, or us as a sixth form team. It is imperative that they are aware that there are people there that they can talk to and are there to support them to ensure they succeed in their sixth form journey. We are aware that students may require support for a variety of reasons, whether this be about their career aspirations, what they're going to do after the sixth form, if it's emotional support or something going on at home. There is so many reasons that they may need support from us as a sixth form team, and it's really important that they all know that there is someone that they can talk to. Moving on to rewards and privileges in the sixth form. Students can still be rewarded house points for good work, for contributions in lessons, and at the end of term there is a house assembly where the highest amount of house points gained in a year group get a prize, and certificates are handed out. As well as this, there are exit privileges where students can go home early on an afternoon each week if they are awarded their exit privileges. For this takes into account how they are working, their current working grades in lessons, also their attendance and punctuality at school. They also have access to the common room, which is just for our sixth form students, which is a lovely area that at break time and lunchtime they can socialise with other students, as well as use it in their study periods for quiet working. As we get towards the end of year 12, they will also be able to put themselves forward for our leadership opportunities and responsibilities around the school. So whether that be them wanting to be head girl, or they want to be part of the house team or the sports team, there is lots of opportunities for responsibility and for them to get involved in the school community. As well as that, we have our non-such subject recognition cards that are given out on a termly basis, where we ask our members of staff to highlight some students that they think have really excelled, whether it be for one piece of work, an exam grade, or just their general attitude and interest in their subjects. And we award these in our assemblies in front of the rest of the year group so that everyone can recognise their good achievements. As a sixth form team, we have seen that over time that there's been a clear correlation between achievement and attendance. As you can see from the table on this slide, a student with 98.98% achieved all their target grades. But as we move up the table, you can see that those with higher attendance at school, that 99.32%, achieved one grade higher than their target grade in a minimum of 2 of their subjects, with some achieving higher than their target grade in all of their subjects. At the other end of the table, we have also noticed as a sixth form team that there is a correlation between underachievement and attendance. As that percentage of attendance starts to drop, getting into those 80s and into those 70s, we have seen that grades tend to be lower than their target grades in 2 subjects, if not more of these, as the attendance starts to fall down. That's why as a school, we ask students to maintain a 95% attendance rate. But as you can just see from those last 2 tables, the higher the percentage rate, the higher the correlation with higher attainment for those target grades.
At 4 points throughout the year, we will inform you of the progress that your daughter is making. 2 of these will be progress reports, which you'll see the structure of on the next slide. One of them is a parent information evening, which this year is on Wednesday the 24th of February. And finally, in July, we'll invite you in for a guidance meeting where your daughter's progress in her exams and the impact this might have on university applications will be discussed. Each progress report that you receive gives you an overview of how your daughter has done in that subject to date. You'll be able to see the topics that she's covered in each specific subject, and you'll also be able to see the assessments that have been used to inform the best fit grade. It won't just be one assessment, it will be an accumulation of assessments, so assessments to date, which give an approximation of the grade that your daughter is working at. You'll also be able to see the approach to learning, and on the next slide you can see the descriptors which make up the approach to learning grade. These are the descriptors for the approach to learning colour, which you'll see on your daughter's report. They correlate really clearly with progress, as you'll see over the next following slides, which is why I think it's so important to provide you with them. Green students are those who are meeting our high expectations, and you can see what our expectations are in the bullet points. Some students exceed our expectations, and we have a handful of students who work exceptionally well. On the other hand, we have students who do struggle to work independently, and they will be given yellow and orange. When you receive the report, these descriptors are a really good starting point for discussion to help you discuss the report with your daughter to work out what she can do to improve her progress. When students are well settled into their courses, they'll receive an ALPS target grade. We use the external company ALPS because they have access to a national data set which show what grade is most likely given a pattern of GCSE grades. So I'd like to take you through an example of this. Here we can see the GCSEs that a student studied and the grades that they achieved. These grades are used then to calculate an average point score. So this average here is 7.45. Unlike our entry criteria for the sixth form, the ALPS system uses all GCSE results to calculate the average rather than just the best 8. And the average for this student is 7.45. ALPS have access to the national data, so they look back to a GCSE cohort and then track forwards to their A-level results. So they will look for students who had an average point score of 7.45, and they will then say that 2 years later those students were statistically most likely to go on to achieve a set grade at A-level. We take the top 25% of students to build in aspiration, and so a student here with an average point score of 7.45 is most likely to go on to achieve a grade A. Why do we set target grades? Well, they're really useful for us. Primarily we use them to identify students who need additional support, and that will be discussed
in later slides, but they're also very useful to give students an idea of whether or not they're working at a suitable level. We know from historical students that students who have a good approach to learning go on to make very, very good progress. So here are 5 examples of students whose approach to learning was consistently purple or blue and purple. And you can see that these students either met their target grades, and their target grades might have been A stars, so they can't exceed them, or they were higher than their target grades. So their approach to learning ensured that they made fantastic progress. This is a similar analysis of historical students, but where their approach to learning was orange and yellow. And for these students, because they didn't master the correct working techniques, their grades were below in 2 or 3 of their subjects, and not just below by 1 grade, but below by 2 grades. We think this is really powerful information to share with you and to share with your daughters as well, to show that it is so important that they work consistently throughout the year.
There is a range of academic support available for students who are struggling. This support comes from their subject teachers, heads of department, and the sixth form team. This information is set out for you on the following couple of slides. In the first instance, we would always encourage students to be proactive in their learning and make their subject teachers aware that they are finding a particular topic difficult. This way, their teachers can support them quickly and effectively. It may seem strange that as soon as your daughter starts sixth form, we start preparing her for when she leaves. And for the majority of our students, they will go on to study at university. Students begin this application process at the end of Year 12 after our internal exams. This is when students receive their predicted grades, which act as a guide as to the kind of courses students might realistically apply for. We are proud of the accuracy of our forecasts when predicting what students will achieve in their A-levels. We know our students and we know our assessments are robust and accurate. For this reason, once predicted grades are given, they cannot be challenged. Your daughter's ALPS, her performance throughout the year, and her end of Year 12 exams all go into generating predicted grades. Therefore, it is important students work hard right from the beginning of Year 12. When your daughter starts to research potential courses at universities, reflect on her performance and look at whether she is making realistic choices as well as making the right choices for her. Too many students still apply for what their parents want them to. Educate yourself about the range of courses that are available and encourage your daughter to do the same. There are over 50,000 courses to choose from on UCAS, and it is important your daughter finds the right one that is for her. On the following slide are a range of courses our students have gone on to study in the last 2 years. We don't mind what our students go on to study or where they go to study, and we will support each and every one of them, whatever their aspirations. Here are a sample of courses our students have gone on to study at universities over the past couple of years. We have an excellent support programme of higher education and careers provision, and are working on what we can still provide for our students given the current constraints. On this slide and the following are some examples from our higher education and careers programme. Our Oxbridge coordinator, Mr. Key, will send out monthly bulletins containing information about essay competitions and virtual workshops students can attend. In addition, we have set up a Twitter account at Nonsuch Beyond, which signposts students to key higher education events. During our higher education event in May, students will begin to write their UCAS applications, and therefore at this stage students cannot attend any university open days during these days. We will also be offering a guidance meeting for students and their parents after the end of Year 12 exams for parents and students to discuss options in light of Year 12 performance. There is also one-to-one careers and HE guidance meetings that will be offered from April to July of Year 12, and we would encourage all students to attend one of these.
We know that the best place for students to learn is in school. However, given the current circumstances, it's likely that there will be periods of time when students will need to work from home. If a member of your household has COVID, or if you're awaiting test results, students will need to self-isolate. And in this situation, as they're not unwell, we will expect them to work from home. And teachers will send work home either by email or on Frog. It's important that students keep up to date so that when they return, they're up to speed with the rest of their class. Another scenario that might arise is that a year group bubble working from home due to cases of COVID within that year group. In this case, all work will be set on Frog and students must log on every morning. A proportion of lessons will be face-to-face sessions on Microsoft Teams, whereas other lessons could include audio PowerPoints, quizzes, worksheets and textbook work. More information will be provided if this scenario arises. But in the meantime, please can you ensure that your daughter can access the assignments that will be set on Frog over the next few weeks and therefore is prepared to work from home if needed.
For those of you still here, well done for getting to the end of the presentation. I appreciate there is a lot of information for you to take in. If you have any further questions, please can I ask you to email them to the address on this slide with the subject heading Year 12 questions. And can you do this please by Friday the 1st of October? We will then endeavour to put together these questions and answers and make them available to you by the end of this half term. Once again, thank you for listening to this presentation, and I very much hope to be able to greet you sometime in the future in person. Many thanks. Goodbye.